How AI and blockchain are transforming the supply chain. Modern supply chains have reached an unprecedented and rather extraordinary level of complexity. The increasing digitization of the physical world in conjunction with the innovation of IoT technology and sophisticated personality-based targeted marketing techniques has created an ecosystem where consumer markets are instantaneously accessible, adaptable, and trackable. While there is erroneous potential for profit on the side of businesses, increases in demand have made the maintenance of a linearly structured supply chain unfeasible, especially when it is no longer strictly defined by its transition from raw material to final product. Moreover, consumers, businesses, and suppliers now form a multi-dimensional conglomerate that ranges beyond specific industry domains, population demographics, and national borders. Supply chain transparency. Blockchains are gaining increasing popularity for their fundamental involvement in the cryptocurrency and NFT markets. Blockchains are, essentially, digital decentralized ledgers that store transaction information. This information is accessible and verifiable, and more importantly, nearly impervious to interference or manipulation. Supply chain transactions are notoriously difficult to disseminate. They must involve the analysis of three specific domains: retail, supply, and funding. While these domains appear relatively straightforward, their interaction with one another is not, especially since current financial ledger systems do not necessarily document transactions at the individual domain level. Furthermore, the flow of information through each of these domains cannot be captured and analyzed in real time, thereby increasing the risk of execution errors. Better stakeholder engagement. Stakeholders are individuals that are invested either financially, politically, or morally in companies. The missions they aim to uphold and the products they develop, such as stakeholders, hold the right to influence how a company designs and manages its supply chain, and more importantly, whether or not its practices adhere to a set of guidelines they consider fundamentally important. As previously stated, blockchains dramatically increase supply chain transparency, which from the perspective of stakeholders would promote accountability while also outlining potential sources of liability that may consequently reduce the company or product's value. By having this perspective, stakeholders would inherently escalate the level of influence they can exert and necessarily become more engaged in supply chain management. On the other hand, this level of transparency also precludes company executives in crafting stakeholder-targeted narratives that superficially satisfy the needs of requirements. This would result in higher levels of trust and better stakeholder-company partnerships. Increasing public trust. Depending on the nation you live in, corporate regulation may be more or less widely implemented. In those nations in which the central government has a strong presence, the level of public trust in corporate practices may be higher due to more stringent constraints or corporations' ability to profit from markets and behaviors that are typically blind to consumers. However, the presence of implementation of blockchain technology in corporate supply chain management will increase the company's vulnerabilities to consumer sentiments, which often act as a primary driving force in both national and transactional markets. Reduction in counterfeit trading. Counterfeit trading is a company or private entity's creation of a product that is meant to replicate an already existing product on the market with the aim of tricking consumers into thinking it is the real thing. For instance, I may choose to design a smartphone with the Apple logo on it and the same sleek look, and then market it to people as the latest iPhone. While this is undoubtedly illegal and a direct breach of trademark laws, it still happens, especially in densely saturated markets. In reality, most examples are not this clear-cut. By tracking the supply chain using blockchain technology, consumers and companies alike can verify the legitimacy of the product being developed. Moreover, these entities developing illegitimate products will not have the ability to tweak their blockchains after blocks have been established, making it impossible for them to obscure their practices.